Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another lesson. My name is RODGON. I am an artist, I'm a designer, I'm a teacher, and more importantly, today I am a professional cartoonist that is going to teach you guys how to draw some cool stuff. So, welcome to my stream. We come on here every day and we teach lessons. We teach people how to draw, and we teach people how to unlock their creativity. So that is the goal of my channel. Over the next hour or so, I will teach you guys some cool drawing tips that will help you guys understand the world of design a little bit more. This is not a gimmick. This is not to lead you to spend money somewhere. This is literally just a free art lesson that you guys can join in and just use to improve your art immediately. I have good reviews. I have very good reviews as a teacher. So, today's lesson is going to be a fun one. If we manage to get to 10K likes, right? If we manage to get to 10K likes, we will begin our lesson on drawing ourselves. So I'm going to give you guys a little lesson on how to make a little avatar for yourselves. We're going to keep it nice and simple. We're going to keep the anatomy nice and easy. And, oh my God, hold on. It's raining really hard. I need to make sure all my windows are closed. Hold on. Okay, now sit. We have saved the apartment from drowning. Now we have to sit down and draw. Okay, so we're good. Once we get to 10K, I'll teach you guys how to draw little avatars. And then those little avatars can be drawn with little features of your choosing, of course. And you guys will be able to draw yourselves a little bit cooler by the end of today. So, this is going to implement my chibi way of drawing. So the RODGON chibi way of drawing. We're going to implement these bodies. We're going to implement really easy faces too. So heads, we're going to go with a circle again. So we're going to double this. We're going to double down on that shape. And we're going to just map out things really simply like that. But we're going to learn how to. And that is the difference. Learning how to do something is different than just copying. When you learn, you can move things, you can pose things, you can tell stories with things, right? You can make a character dance, you can make a character have emotions. Like he's singing to a girl on a mountaintop. Oh, Romeo, oh, Romeo. La, 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 la. Stuff like that. So understanding the best way to tell your stories is going to be how you get to be the artist that you want to be. In this case, I have a mustache, I have a beard, I am bald, and I have big, bushy eyebrows. All right, so we are about halfway there. Once we get to our goal, we will start our lesson. Until then, I'm going to tease you guys with knowledge. So, you know the reason why people tell you to learn your fundamentals, right? So your fundamentals are things like circles, boxes, and then you turn those into spheres and cubes and cylinders by connecting two circles together. Stuff like that. Most of the time, you can get to the next shape by just duplicating the first one. So a circle you duplicate it, and you connect the edges, you get a cylinder. If you take a circle and you duplicate that circle inside a couple times, you get a sphere. If you have a box and you duplicate that box and again connect the edges, you get a cube. So understanding just these basic fundamentals, you don't need to know all the perspective that goes into like a horizon line and stuff like that to get depth now. Just understanding these very basic concepts, you can generate a ton of depth very, very easily. Understanding that there's subdivisions that you can touch allow you the ability to draw things within guidelines, because each one of these lines becomes a guideline you can use to draw your character in different positions. This doesn't apply just to faces, though. This applies to every single element down to where your eyeballs go. Right? Wherever your eye is going to be pointing, that is based on the simple concept of the sphere. And being able to draw circles inside help you pinpoint exactly where something's supposed to be pointing, regardless of the styling. That is later on going to be useful when you're trying to draw eyes. Okay? It's going to help you guys understand that these guidelines can also teach you the front and the back of something. So for your ears, all you need to do is learn how to draw through your shape with a circle and then connect them on the bottom with the proper line work that is needed for the underside of the chin. Ear, ear, chin. So by just learning to draw through your shape a little bit, you're going to be able to get those angles with the jaw that are so hard to normally do. Wes, you did not come on, so I just jumped on. Sorry, I didn't hear back from you. So I took the 8 o'clock slot, my friend. So strap in. So we're almost at 10K. Once we get to 10K, we will start our lesson on making little U's. How to draw U. Okay, so I think we're going to get there. So the first lesson in drawing little avatars, okay, and little avatars is understanding the ratio of what you need your head in your body to be, right? This ratio is going to separate you from different realms of illustration. If you keep like a 1-to-1 ratio where your body is the same height as your body, as your head, then you're going to have a very cartoony, very little simple style. Now, if you go and you make the body even smaller, let's make it not this, but half of that. So only half of the size of the head. So the entirety of the body fitting within this little space gives you a completely different look. Okay? So understanding, first of all, which kind of ratio you want for your character is very important. Once you understand that, though, that is going to be kind of the hardest lesson, the hardest thing you have to decide, and the hardest thing you need to learn to use. Depending on whatever characteristics you want for your shape or your character, I'm drawing myself in this case, one of them will tell you a little bit more about the character. Maybe if I'm carefree and just happy, I will draw something smaller. If I want to be a little bit more serious, taken more like an adult, I would draw something like this. But if I wanted to even go different, I want to go taller, you can go and you can create something that isn't just twice the size, but maybe 3 times the size, right? So now the body is a little taller. The ratios are still there. The ratio is still the same. I'm still splitting everything just in half, and everything's just half, 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 okay? And if I do that, I need to learn to draw the body a little bit more. But it's actually not all that difficult once you understand how the body works. So understanding that you can go and make everything from like an 8-head tall character to a 6-head tall character, whatever, like that ratio will automatically kind of set into your head. And eventually you'll be able to draw people that are every size character. You won't have to ever think about, oh, well, how many head tall is this? No, you'll just start thinking about it differently. Okay? You won't think of proportions the same way because proportions are kind of silly. We always aim to break them by coming up with styles, but we want to know exactly what the perfect ratio is. There is no perfect ratio. There is no perfect ratio at all. There's no 8 heads tall perfectly. Like there's no perfect human. There is a standardized way of drawing a human that consists of a rib cage, a hip bone, a spine, and then you have leg bones, and then you have arm bones and collar bones and skulls and stuff like that. The reason that we learn anatomy, right? The reason we learn anatomy is so that we can actually put any sort of skin we want to this. I can make this into a girl. I can make this into a monster. I can make this into a dude with big shoulders and arms. I can make this into a nice skinny person that has really, really creepy fingers. I can make anything based on the skeleton if I learn how to draw the skeleton. If I learn how to draw a basic human body from just actual skeletal systems, then it's not going to be really hard to look at reference and be able to understand what I'm looking at. So this is something that is a little bit more complex than what we're going to teach today. What we're going to teach today is going to be how to see the human body really simply. But then I'm going to teach you guys how to add little features so that you guys can make it your own. So let's, now that we talked about the ratio, which is the hardest part to understand, okay? Understanding that there's no set ratio, right? You can choose whatever you feel like. As long as you have the elements in there, it's going to look okay. As long as you have a rib cage, which these do, hip bones, which is at the top of the legs, and you have enough space for your appendages, you're going to have a good time. So let's focus a little bit on the head for now, because that's going to be the most awesome heads. We're not going to draw entire heads like a human would be. Like, we're not going to go into the RODGON theory and stuff like that for this. You don't really need all that detail to be able to draw little cartoon avatars. So you don't really need to know where all these landmarks go, okay? When you're drawing for yourself or like silliness, you want to be able to get a very intuitive way to drawing things. And sometimes drawing all these guidelines just take away from the fun of actually just designing something silly. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the rule of half, okay? And that means that everything is going to be divided in half. We're going to take any shape we want for our head. We're going to divide that in half. Then we're going to divide that in half again. A lot of the times people just draw a line like this. Even though it looks like that, I'm actually thinking of a circle. I'm thinking of a circular object inside of it. That's why they have little curves at the edges. This allows me to think in volume. This allows me to see one side of my face, and then if I draw a complete line, I have the other side of my face. So if I have one ear right here, I have an ear right here. So I know exactly where everything is in my brain. So that's first step, right? Understanding the rule of halves by just splitting your shape in half. So once you have that, again, we're going to put the eye right at the half line. Whatever eyes we choose, they're going to be right at the half line. Okay? The eyebrows are going to be in a conical shape above your eyes. A conical, draw a cone, and then your eyebrows. Just draw a cone, and then your eyebrows. That's all you really need to know if you like drawing your eyes first. That is the only measurement you really need to know. Draw your eye, draw a cone, and that is going to be the space for your eyebrow most of the time. You have your eyelid to fill in that space. And then from there, if you drew a little butterfly, kinda, you can get the nose bridge. So it's a kind of very fun way to see it. Mustache, do not eat the cable again. I swear to God, I will stop giving you snacks. No more chewy bits, not the ones you like. No, yeah, you stop right away, huh? Yeah, he knows. Get over here. Here, have your little comfy bed. Sit on your bed. Good boy. Okay, so now that you understand a little bit more about how the eye works, now anytime that you draw a shape and you draw one eye, you can go beep, beep, eyebrow. And guess what the eyebrow gives you? The eyebrow gives you the side of your face. Because your temple, wherever your temple hits, which is the side of your eyebrow, ends in being the side of your face. So now you have the measurement for your eye, your eyebrow, and the side of your face. And you can reverse engineer it. You can draw your eyebrow first, draw a little cone down, and you have your eye. Ta-da! Congratulations, you have just leveled up. Wherever you draw your eyebrow, that's the side of your face. A cone down gives you your eye. Ta-da! You're a god. No, I'm not. I am not. I'm a rod. A RODGON. So that is one thing that you guys can use. And since we're not going to even draw noses on these guys, we don't really need to know where our nose goes. This is what we're going to do for our noses. We're going to draw a circle. We're going to draw half our line, half our line. We're going to draw our eyeball, whatever style we choose, right at the middle. We're going to do a little cone up for our eyebrow, which if our eyebrow is different, the cone changes. Okay. And then our nose is going to be at the bottom of the eyeball. You're going to draw this. Boop. That's it. That's all you're going to do. Because that, my friends, does this when you're drawing from the side. Midline. Boop. This is just a little lift that gives you that little tiny nose pocket. The little anime nose pocket. Okay? That's what happens when you draw that little tiny thing. That little tiny whoop is literally just this little lip at the bottom of your eye. A cone for my eyebrow. I draw my other eye, a cone for my eyebrow. The side of my eyebrow is going to be the side of my face. And then I split this in half at a slight angle. Don't go like this. Don't draw your jaw down, okay? That's not how it goes. Your jaw goes like this. Slight angle, okay? Very slight angle, but it's a slight angle. It's not completely straight down. From there, ta-da! Ah. So now you have an idea of how to map out your eyes, where to draw your nose. That is going to be either a simple line, right? Or you can draw the whole little indent. It's right a little bit below your eyeballs, a little bit. Essentially, wherever your eyeball would be, the bottom of it, that's where your nose could be. Unless you have a really big nose for like a defining feature. If your defining feature is a big nose, draw your nose the shape of your nose, and then draw some other feature a little smaller. And then you can make that nose the feature of your drawing. So for my big nose people like myself, this is something you can do. You don't have to exclude your nose. But now you know the placement of it. So as long as you place it here, you can draw all the detail you want now. We'll talk about the hair in a second. Calm down. Everything in baby steps, my friends. Everything in baby steps. If you guys rush, you guys aren't going to get to the finish line. So now that we know how to draw a simple face, we draw a circle, we split it in half, we draw our eyeball at the midline, we can draw a little line for our nose, and then all this area underneath becomes our mouth space. We can draw our mouths as anything we want. Okay? That whole area underneath just becomes all the play area for our mouths. So you can draw all your different features any way you want. You don't even need to really shift the sizing of it because the character is so simple that you don't really need to even shift the size of the jaw. So when you keep it nice and simple like that, it's pretty easy to just be creative. And then when you want to create things with like jaws and stuff like that, you just add that volume to underneath that midline. And then you can change it to whatever you feel like. So that is one way that you guys can start approaching your different jaw structures. So start with your design, coming up with all your elements like this, and then change it to the look that you need. If it's a skinnier person, draw a skinnier midline down. And this will translate later on to more complicated shapes too. It doesn't have to stay that simple. I didn't go to school for this. I learned this myself. I learned this all on my own, and now I teach it online for you guys. What do you recommend doing for art block? I recommend you watch me. That's what I recommend. I highly recommend you watch Rod. And I think that I have a very successful streak of helping people understand things. And it actually is very, very, it's not just a couple people that get it. Like, it seems like a lot of people understand the way that I explain things. Underneath the midline, you change the look to whatever you feel like. The top has to remain the same because it's a bone, right? And then your hairline is going to come right in between your eyebrows and the top of your head. That's where your hairline would be. Your hair grows up and then down and it falls. So your hair grows up and then falls down. Goes up and then falls down. And then it goes around your head. So hair grows up and then falls down and then goes around your head like a cylinder. Like a cylinder. So if you have your head, your hair would just be a cone falling around it. That's all hair is. It just grows up and then down, up and then down. That's all hair is. It's not very complicated. It's just, you just got to learn how to actually draw it. Once you understand it, it goes up and then down. You can get complicated as hell with this. And then you combine that with what we learned, and then you can draw all your K-pop hair you want. Dude, I just joined on the right time because I barely draw hair. Well, now you don't have to worry about it. Start with your shape, right? We talked about this. Midline, eyeballs. Boop, 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 boop. Eyeballs on the cone gives you your eyebrows. Your eyebrows at the edge gives us the side of our face. The side of our face gives us our cheekbones and everything else for the face. The nose goes at the bottom of the eyeball, and all this area is your mouth space. From here, in between your eyebrow and the top of your head, you're going to draw a line. This could be a circle that goes around your shape as well. By the way, you can just draw a circle to give yourself your hairline, and it's actually quite intuitive to do it like that. But when it gets really, really, really close to the top of the head, sometimes it's hard and it gets messy. So a lot of the times I just draw like the line going around. But it's easiest if you just draw a shape going all the way around. Okay? Once you do that, hair goes up, and then it kind of works like grass. If it's short, it's nice and steady. If it gets longer, it starts getting flowy. And then when it gets really long, it starts getting taken over by gravity. When it gets really long, that uplift gets a little negated by all the weight of it coming down. And when it gets wet, it's almost insignificant lift, but it's still there. Okay? Even when it's wet and like sticking to your head, you still have a little bit of a lift because the hair still grows up. It has to grow up. It's follicles of hair. They go up and then they start taking on gravity, so that's why they fall down. But that's how hair works in general. All hair starts as little stubbles, and then they start getting longer, and then they start getting long, and then they take gravity, and then they fall. So that is essentially what has to do with hair. Now, drawing it comes into play in a couple ways. One, you need to understand how it overlaps each other, right? Because a lot of the times you have hair, and you have the upper hair that's longer, and then you have the lower hair that might be a little shorter. You have layers sometimes. You always start at the front, and then you work your way back, kind of like you would with a hand, right? You don't start with your back fingers. You start with the front fingers, and then you progressively work your way back because a lot of them are going to get covered. Same thing happens with hair. With hair, you need to understand what parts of your hand or what parts of your hair are not going to be seen and therefore just need silhouetting. And what parts you do see, and that can give an element of depth, which is kind of like the bangs and stuff like that. I don't know what a low temper fade is, dude. I don't know hairstyles. I'm bald, okay? I can draw a ponytail. There you go. There you go. You get a little samurai ponytail. Boom. As for like easy stuff that is actually like in everybody's demeanor, and then maybe I'll be able to do it. If you ask for like, can I get a high-tempered fade, high cut, blah, blah, I don't know barbershop talk, dude. I'm an artist. And I'm bald. Again, I have never been to a barbershop. I don't know what tapers are, what fades are. I just know how to draw them. So start with circle, then add face shape, chin. Like what you were talking about. Start with a shape that you want for your head. It doesn't have to be a circle. It doesn't have to be a circle at all. It could be like a little square or circle, whatever. Draw a circle inside to give yourself a front line. Draw a circle inside to give yourself a horizontal front line. The midline right there, that's going to be the middle of your eyeball. So if you were to draw a happy face, like a little super simple happy face, that's where the eyes would be. But since we're drawing a little bit more complicated, the volume goes to both ways because the eyeball would sit right in the middle. Okay? At the bottom of the eyeball, draw a little line or your nose. At the bottom of your eyeball, start that and go down. So find your eyeball, find where that would be on that line, and then draw your nose down from there. Find your eyeball, draw your nose down from there. Find your eyeball, draw your nose down from there. That gives you the spacing that you require, but also it allows you to draw really simple characters without a nose, but with just a little indication of a nose, right? You can now draw just a little line at the bottom of your eyes, and now that's going to give you a nice little indicative place for your nose, even though you don't draw it. So you don't have to draw a nose anymore. How cool is that? You don't have to, but you can if you want to, of course. You should always be able to draw the things you omit. Okay, so now that we know how to draw the proportions, we know how to draw the face, we know how to simplify the facial structure, and we know how to draw hair on top of it, and our jaws and variations, now we can go on to the cool stuff, which is the body. That is the cool stuff because that's the stuff that nobody really teaches easy. So let's go into the hard stuff. But oh my God, we've only gone up 7,000 likes. The whole lesson and we only went up 7,000 likes. That is horrible. We have 500 people in the chat. We totally need to get to like 30K or something. Come on, guys. Come on. Show your teacher some love. This man lives off ego boost and props, okay? This man right here, the mustachioed wonder that you guys see in front of you, he works off props and ego boosts, okay? You guys tell me I'm cool, that gets you guys a video. You guys tell me I'm awesome, you guys get a video. That's literally how my brain works. So if you guys want to see more from me, just let me know how cool I am. And then I'll be like, oh my God, yes, fuel. So this mustachio dude I'm a humble creature. I'm a humble creature, but I like being adored. So, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, you guys are so nice. You guys are so awesome. You don't have to say that. Oh, yes, but say it. Say it. Oh, man. Okay, so we're going to get to the cool stuff. Should we talk about just simple eyes real fast, though? I think we should talk about simple eyes and then go into the bodies. Because I think simple eyes are very, very easy, and they're very, very cool to draw on toned paper. So I want to draw them on toned paper. So the eyeballs, cool. 30K, awesome. You guys can totally get me to like 50K so easy. So I'll leave you guys that as a task, but we'll continue our lesson. So eyeballs, right? Eyeballs are circles, right? And they go inside of our skull. So if we find where our eyeball is in a drawing, it's half and half, right? We talked about this. Half and half. The eyeball goes right in the middle. So how do people draw really cool eyelids and shit like that? How do the people go like, ooh, look at my sensual eyelids for my pinups? Or they go like, oh, look at me, I'm super cool, I have squared eyes. And then they just have this ability to draw any shape into an eyeball, right? And it's like, oh, I hate them, they're so good. Well, you're going to have the ability in like a minute. It takes 1 minute to learn this. It really does. So think about your eye like a ball, right? We're going to think about the eye like a ball because it's a sphere. Our whole eyeball can be broken down into 4 circles. So you go 1 circle, 2 circle, 3 circles, and then we draw an oval for our 4th circle. Once we get to that fourth circle, all we need is to overlap that top line with a darker line, and we have ourselves an eyeball. Now, going into more detail, when you got anatomy, would be like the thickness to the eyelid, the teardrop, and then maybe some eyelashes. But overall, that is the essence of an eye. You can add highlights and all the detail you feel like later. But the actual core of it is just going to be 2 lines or 4 circles and an overlapping line. And I like to teach it like this. Circle, circle, circle. That's the eyeball. The design aspect of the actual eye comes from the oval that you draw. Whatever oval you draw and whatever overlapping line you draw is going to give you the look that you want. If you don't want a nice sensual look, you can literally just draw the circles and then just draw a line. Just draw a line that goes from one edge to the other edge of the eye and then close it with an intersecting line. So what you're doing is this. Okay? You draw one a little thicker, and all of a sudden you have yourself a super nice, cool eye. You don't need any anatomy knowledge. You don't really need anything in general to be able to just draw that. You just need to know how to draw a circle. So you draw one curvy line, and then you draw another curvy line that intersects it. And if you do that, you're able to draw eyes with roundness a lot easier. And then all you gotta do is thicken that upper line to whatever styling of your choosing. Right? It can be any styling of your choosing. When you learn that, the eyes just become 2 lines. They become one line that's nice and dark, and one line that's not so dark that intersects it. And you just draw your designs like that. Soon enough, you'll realize that you can do that with any shape. Just overlap the top line, and all of a sudden, you have eyeballs in any shape you feel like. Any shape you feel like, as long as you darken that upper line a little bit, you have access to every facial expression and every style you can possibly think of. And I have yet to discover a style I can't replicate like this. So understanding that alone will help you level up. Understanding that you have access to drawing any eye you want is really cool, right? But then how do you apply that to the face? Well, we already established how to draw the eyes in the face. Split it in half, and this gives you this little curvature line, right? If we're drawing our middle of our eyeball on this, we can use that as a guideline for our curvy lines. So you already know where it's supposed to go, and now you know how to apply it. Cool. Start with your shape, split it in half with a circle, split it in half with a circle so it's nice and curvy. Find where the middle is. You can draw your eyeball over the midline, and then use that midline to find where your curvy lines go. Your eyebrows are a cone over your eye. Where nose is going to be at the bottom of where that eyeball is. We can either have it come out, or you can just chill in with just a little line. And then this whole area is your mouth space. Yeah. The side of your eyebrow gives you the side of your face. And the middle of this, at an angle, gives you where your ear is supposed to go. Cool. No guessing, no like, you kind of do this, you kind of do that, and you like have to see it. No. There's none of that shit. Not in my methods. No. In my methods, we learn everything. We learn how to connect everything. It's like a puzzle, okay? And we connect every puzzle piece together. Like, we don't think of just the eye. We think of the eye and the nose. We don't think of the eyes by themselves. We think the eyes and the eyebrows. We always have to focus on the thing that's next to it, right? Don't ever just draw an eye. No, that's a waste of like time. Draw the eye and then try to draw the eyelid and the eyebrow or a little bit of the nose. So you start mapping out in your brain slowly. Every time you draw an eye, you draw your nose bridge and your eyebrows. And you will eventually get to the point where you can do this from every angle because your brain is going to be scanning it slowly, little by little. Every time that you draw something that actually makes sense or looks good, you're going to be like, ooh, that line looks good. But if you don't draw the next thing next to it, if you don't draw like the mouth or something alongside with it, then you're going to lose that because then it just becomes a floating feature, right? And floating features suck because they're easy to draw, but they're hard to connect. Floating features are the bane of my goddamn existence because all my students know how to do them, but they don't know how to connect them to the bodies. They don't know how to put their things together, but they know how to draw every body part incredibly well. So it's frustrating as hell to be like, no, why do your bodies look different than your drawings of your bodies? Like, you know how to draw the body part. How come it's hard for you to put it into the actual system? Like, why is it easy to draw here, but it's hard to draw here, right? And that's knowledge. That's all knowledge. Understanding where things go is not very complicated. We have to observe and break it down in ways that we understand it. Okay, if we break in ways that we understand it, bottom of that, then it starts becoming simpler. We stop guessing where everything goes and we get to be a little bit more creative with what we draw. Once we don't have to guess, we get to create. So it's not about drawing a certain specific shape and I need to come up with guidelines and things and for a specific perfect ratio. All you need to do is understand a couple basic concepts, okay? Let's do two completely different faces so that we understand this. Okay, half. At half line, I'm going to draw some eyes, a very cartoony character with big eyes. At the midline, I draw that, essentially giving myself glasses. I want this guy to be a little bit more different styling, so I'm going to make the eyes a lot smaller. Okay? From there, my eyeball is round, so I can draw the eyeball around to see where the actual eyeball. This one's pretty round, so I don't need to do that. I darken the top line to make it look like an eyeball. I darken the top line to make it look like an eyeball, and then I draw my styling. From there, my nose is going to be at the bottom of my nose, have my eyes pointing down. On a simple character, I don't even need to draw the nose. I just have to draw an indication of the nose bridge breaking. For this, the nose is going to be around here. My nose canal is going to be pointing down from there, and then I'm going to draw my nose coming down. Okay? My eyebrows are going to be a cone from the edges of my eyeball, a cone up, because they're a little bit wider normally than your eye. So a little cone gives me access to drawing my eyebrows. A little cone gives me access to my eyebrows. I don't have to draw them super separated from it. I just need to draw them a little bit bigger. From the edge of my eyebrow to the edge of my head shape, that is the side of my head. This one is kind of weird, so I'm going to maybe add a little bit more spacing to give that styling. Okay? I can adjust my drawings as we go. It's fine too. If something doesn't look right, but you just need to adjust a little bit, just do it. It's a sketch. I round out the shape. And at the middle of this, I already have the middle because I drew this. The middle, you draw your ear pointing back. From there, the edge of your eye is going to be roughly the edge of your eye socket. That eye socket wraps around as your cheekbone and it goes onto your teeth. Okay? So it goes foop, 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 foop. So that's where your cheekbone comes in. That's where your cheekbone comes in on both sides. It wraps around to where your teeth would be. From there, your mouth is just wrapping around your teeth. Your mouth just wraps around your teeth. Your chin is directly underneath your mouth. And it wraps around your mouth. Your jaw is what connects the remaining volume. So essentially, you can draw your heads from anything. Any shape you draw can be turned into a face if you understand just how to connect those dots. Right? If you understand how to do that, there's really no limitations except however much anatomy you understand and how much knowledge you understand of how to overlap shapes. So like old people will be a little bit of a difficult thing for people because they have wrinkles and they have anatomy that is not conducive to what a superhero would be that you don't learn in those Marvel way things, right? You don't learn to do like saggy cheeks and stuff like that from the Marvel way. Holy shit. Oh my God, we're at 76,000? Whoa. Whoa. What did I do to deserve that? So half. So eventually you're not even going to have to divide it in half, by the way. Eventually, instead of going half, maybe you want to do a different ratio. And then once you learn how the basics work, then you can start modifying it, right? Once you understand the concept of the basics, then you can start playing around with variations of the basics. And once you understand that, then your potential is unlocked. Then you have the ability to draw absolutely anything you want. So the reason that I like to teach it in steps, right? Everything in steps is because a lot of people want to get to this level. They want to get to this level, but they don't know even how to draw at this level. So they can't draw a simple happy face rotating around in the circle, but they want to draw complicated facial expressions going in super forced perspectives and stuff, right? If you can't do this, you're not going to be able to do this. This is going to frustrate you, the living hell out of you. Learning how to draw heads slightly tilted and stuff is going to drive you insane if you don't know how to draw this. So it's something that you need to learn to take in steps. And from this, if you learn how to draw a circle, all you got to do is learn how to connect a circle underneath it. And that's how you get yourself your jaw. Okay? It's not really all that complicated once you learn how to see that. You can also draw your spine, which is the back of your head, first, and then draw your volume for your head, and then draw a circle for the jaw. And then you have yourself access to, again, a different way of seeing it that makes sense. So it's just a matter of, there's so many different ways to see things. There's a step ladder approach. You know, if you see things more as like outside edges, seeing it like that helps. because now you understand that there's a little step, right? There's so many different ways to break things down. So many different ways. Oh my God, we got to 100,000. You guys are crazy. Dude, your fingers must hurt. Your fingers must hurt. I can just imagine one dude, like a single dude going like, yeah, let's get up to 100. I imagine one dude. You guys are funny. You guys are silly. Man, I really hope the app doesn't get banned. Oh my God, it's gonna suck if everybody that I have here, like, I don't get to like teach you guys anymore. I'm gonna be so sad. It's gonna be such a hit. Like, not even gonna lie, I might cry a little. I might cry a little because I finally got to be a teacher. I finally got to be a teacher, and then it gets ripped away from me because they're protecting me. Fuck off. But anyways, if you guys want to keep on learning from me, I have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. I have books. I have things that you guys can purchase so you guys don't lose me. Don't lose me. Okay, so what's your YouTube? Yeah, you can just follow the links in my bio and you'll get there. I mean, it's normally the same name as the person that's doing the stuff, guys. Like, it's normally not that hard. Like, if it wasn't any different, I'd probably tell you guys, but it's not. It's very easy to find things that you want to find. When someone is dedicated, they will find that knowledge. And I've seen that. I've seen driven people. You know, like, I love driven people. Like, it's something that makes me want to actually keep teaching. Just seeing people that are so driven and so dedicated and that want to learn so badly is the reason that I'm still doing what I do. How do you draw a side profile? Okay, so you draw something that's a little bit wider than it is taller. So you're gonna want something that's a little wider. And the reason that you do that is because most of your brain is what encompasses your profile. Okay? It's your brain. This is something that a lot of people forget. Okay? Your brain is in your head. Your brain has two little organs that stick out and they go on forward called eyeballs. Those eyeballs are inside of these pockets of bone that are called eye sockets. Those eye sockets have a very complicated form that wraps around, giving you our teeth and our cheekbones. And then from there, we have the spacing required for the muscles of our jaw that connect to our ear. And then most of the jaw in itself is most of your teeth line. So it's your molars and your muscles that help you chew and swallow. Then here you have that bone that's round that goes up, and that's your jaw structure. Your teeth and stuff like that are there. And then you have skin that covers all that stuff, right? Skin in the form of eyelids, the form of noses, lips, all that stuff is on top. So how do we simplify that? Well, we make it really easy. We just make a triangle, and a triangle gives us guidelines up and down, so those lines can go up and down. The triangle becomes the midpoint of our face, which means the midpoint of our eyeball. And then from there, we can start guiding everything else to our face, giving us access to drawing really simple characters or as complicated of a shape as we want, because we don't have to guess where things go anymore. Okay. So when you stop guessing, things just become easy. Can I draw Luffy? I don't exactly know what his face looks like, but I think I know what his hat looks like. Does he have a scar? I know he's rubber, right? Like, I haven't watched One Piece. I refuse to watch One Piece. Most of the time, I just got so bored with it the first time. You know, like, I got so absolutely bored with it that now they have like fifth gear. I'm like, who cares? Like, if your story was boring from the get-go, right? And you never really progressed beyond the pirate aspect of things. In how many seasons? It's just like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like that good of a story, honestly. And I might lose people because of that. But it's just, I don't know, it's just, for a fighting anime, it's really slow. So let's see. How can you pass on a reference? Okay, so you guys want to see 5 faces really quickly? That's gonna be easy. I can probably, let's see if I can draw them in a minute. So 5 faces. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Strong with hair too. Ba, ba, ba. 1. Let's draw one a little more complicated. Maybe like a goblin or something. 2. We can draw a whole panda in the time. That's technically a face too. 3. Let's draw a chubby person. And then we'll draw a pinup. Cool. 5. I mean, I used to be a caricature artist for a living, guys. Faces are the easiest thing in the world to draw for me. It faces in general have become like a pattern. So I see that like a Sudoku puzzle, right? As long as I connect all the points, the face is successful. Sometimes it's really hard because I don't see an angle, I don't see a line, I don't see like a feature, I don't see like the proper like placement of something. And that happens to me even now. You know, like it's not something that just disappears and you don't just magically know how to draw everything all the time. No, like sometimes you see something and like, what the hell? Like, how do you draw that? And then you just kind of figure it out. The accumulation of knowledge that you have over the years, right? Whatever you learn over the years, the things that you have like mastered and the things that you have learned already, don't throw them away just because you learned to draw something different today. That is all going to be and play a part in you being able to draw yourself your own styling, right? All your knowledge, the compilation of your knowledge is what is going to eventually lead to being able to draw something unique for yourself. So don't ever think that you've wasted your time. You have not wasted time learning things that you didn't really need. Everything will eventually come together when it comes down to you wanting to search for your own peculiar way of drawing. And your style is all based on your knowledge. So the more knowledge you have, the more you have to pull from for whenever you do want to be creative like that. Whenever you do want to get away from your studies and you want to get better at learning how to draw things, you know, that are more complicated. And when you want to venture into the world of doing things without instruction, like when you actually want to push the envelope for yourself instead of, oh, let's see what a tutorial is. Like, no, fuck that. It's time for me to make a tutorial. You know, when you get to that point where you're like, yeah, it's my turn now. Like, let me teach people how to do that stuff. Then you'll be where I am. then you'll be happy not just drawing cool things, but showing people how to. And being able to do so effectively makes you a master, even regardless of having the paperwork or not, you know? If you're able to explain what you do and you're able to pass on your knowledge, you're a master at it. Is it a waste to draw a comic? Dude, is it a waste for you? Is it a waste for you? Why do you care what other people think? It's your comic. Why do you care? I'm just going to sit here with my notepad and I'm going to play doctor with you for a second. So let me ask you a sincere question, and I hope that you answer. I hope that you answer, because a lot of people don't answer when I actually stop and talk to them. So why is it that you think that? Talk to Dr. Rod. I'm not a doctor. I just have the letters for it in my name. What about the back? The back of the head? Well, the back of the head, let's rotate the back of the head. Let's go 3/4. Let's go front. 3/4 side, 3/4 back, and complete back. Okay, cool. So from the front, we have our eyeballs, we have our mouth, we have our nose. We have our eyebrows that give us the side of our face, and we have our ears that are roughly about in the middle of our face, about 1/3 of the way in. And when you see things from the side, we can also split this into 3. Figure out where we want our ear. And then from the ear, we can draw a circle that's split evenly on both sides. Gives us the same circle that we have here, right? The measurement gives us access to our eyebrow, and our eyebrow gives us access to our eye. We duplicate that eye, and then we have ourselves our face. Yay. From the profile, we can divide it into 3. Again, we can choose the side of our face. You got to remember that the side of your face is a lot bigger than people think. Okay, most of your features are going to fall within the first fourth of your face. It's going to be right here. Most of your features are going to fall within this area. They're not, especially if you're not going with a cartoony route. If you're not going with a cartoony route, most of your features fall within the very front fourth of your face. Most of the rest is just your space for your brain. Most of this is just your brain. Okay, so that's what happens when you're drawing something from that. When you're looking at it from the back, you got to start considering the ear as something that is blocking the path of your head. A lot of the jaw structures and stuff like that, just tuck behind where the neck is. And your hairline goes from the bottom of your ear to the bottom of your ear, and you can just build it up like that. Boom, boom, because that's where your neck comes from. And then a complete shot of the back would be ear, the same as the front, but instead of having all your features, you have your hairline that matches the bottom of your ear to the bottom of your ear, and then your neck comes out from there. Actually, your neck comes in like that because your muscles in the back connect like that. So that is essentially what happens with your back. Your muscles come up with a little thing like that. And that happens in all perspectives. It's my confidence. What if no one reads it? Who are you writing it for them, or are you writing it for you? Are you writing the story for them? If you are for them, then ask them, tell them exactly what they want. Why are you writing it yourself? Just ask them. If you're so concerned, just go and ask everybody what they would like so that you can draw exactly what they want. Or You can get a little confidence and think, oh, well, maybe I have the ability to be able to draw something that is going to be significant without the input of other people. And if they can't get along with it, then they can go F themselves. That's that sounds really, really aggressive, but that is the mentality you gotta have. You have to be like, okay, you're not on board with me? Cool. I don't need you. Building a comic is not easy. Building a comic is fucking hard. And it's very time consuming. And it's very, 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 very much so passion projects. Because a lot of the times you don't really get what you want out of it. You don't get the whole like, oh, I'm going to get a deal out of this stuff. No, and a lot of the times it's just to get the story out, right? It's not to develop anything major. It's just, I want to draw my fucking comic. That is like most of the reason why we draw the comics. We're like, I just want to do it. Like I've always wanted to. I want to do it. So screw whoever is not reading your comic, man. It's not for them. It's for you. And if it's not for you, then I don't know why you're motivated to draw a comic if it's not for you. How do you show contrast in the face? Well, the face in itself is going to have a bunch of planes, right? Which can be found relatively easy. This is the last lesson for today, guys. Thank you so much for getting me to 151,000 people on this Easter day. Baby, undead Jesus, the undead lich Jesus would be very proud. We were time. Oh my God. Oh, and yeah, Mr. Sketch. Mr. Mind Labs, okay? Mr. Mind Labs, I believe, is the person that bought a router. He bought us a router, guys. He like straight up fucking bought us a router. Like his generosity is like not gonna be undone, dude. Like he is genuinely probably one of the kindest persons here. Like he saw that the internet was shitty and he likes what I do, so he went and he bought a router. Holy shit. I haven't been able to afford much equipment because I don't make much money off of this. And it's after I quit my editorial job, I've been working off my savings, honestly. But I want to do this. And so that was really, really nice. And I really do appreciate it. Yeah. It's already being put to use, man. It so already feels so much better. So thank you so much. People like you are the reason that we're able to actually progress and succeed effortlessly without less, like even more struggles, And I appreciate every one of my subscribers, every single one of the people that subscribe to all my medias, like if it's on Instagram, if it's on Patreon, if it's on YouTube. I appreciate every single one of you. You guys are the reason that I'm able to do what I do, right? You guys are the reason that I'm able to spend my days happy and joyful and teaching and just doing what I want to do. So from the bottom of my little heart, the little bit that's left there, and I appreciate every single one of you guys, and I want to send you guys some love. No, man, you've done enough. I don't think, I already feel bad that you sent something that was that expensive. I don't feel like, I'm not that person. It's just, it made me incredibly uncomfortable. Very grateful, but incredibly uncomfortable to receive any gifts. And it's something that I struggle with a lot. It's something that is not very conducive to who I am as a person. So thank you. Anyways, we have had a wonderful lesson today. I think we learned a lot today. So we have learned how to hopefully teach you guys how to draw your own avatars by teaching you guys how proportions work, right? teaching you guys the very basics of how to draw a body with your hip bones and your rib cage, and then showing you guys examples of how to manipulate that to be able to get to a final step. If you guys feel like learning posing and you guys want to learn a little bit more anatomy in general, I teach that every single day. I teach you guys how to move your characters, how to do that stuff. So go watch any of my other videos on YouTube, and you guys will get a bunch of knowledge about how to draw a ton of different things. Okay, and eventually you guys will be able to draw effortlessly when you go out in public and you draw people and you want to draw your comics and you want to copy styles, you want to copy poses. Life drawing is going to be an absolute joke to you. And eventually you'll get to the point where you can just simplify everything or complicate things as much as you want because you'll understand it. And understanding is the most important part of drawing. It's not spending hours just putting the pen on paper. It's understanding what you're doing. And because if you understand it, then it clicks. When it clicks, it makes you able to take that knowledge and implement your imagination onto it. You no longer replicate. You are then at the realm of creation, imagination, and stuff like that. Okay? So that is what you get out of me. That's what you can get out of me. If you guys feel like supporting, there are books for sale that you guys can get. I don't like you guys just donating. That's, to me, it's pointless. You guys should get something cool, and I have books. So you guys can choose from pinup books or doodle books, or there's a free coloring book for everybody. There's a free coloring book in my website for absolutely everybody, a coloring / adult activity book. Not adult as in like adult, but you know what I mean. More like, not like a little kid's thing. Anyways, enjoy. Take care. I'll see you guys soon. Maybe later today because it's Easter and I don't have pool. So maybe I'll see you guys a little later for some music and some doodles. And if you guys feel like getting a lot more out of me and you guys want to learn more, just go to my YouTube channel through my links. You guys can get a lot of information. And if you guys also want more, we're going to have courses coming soon. We're going to have our first course, which is going to be sketchbook habits. Sketchbook habits and how to use your sketchbook. That's going to be the very first course that I release. And that's going to be through my store as well. But I'll let you guys know that. I'll let you guys know all that stuff. It'll be easy and simple and nice and easy to download and stuff like that. Just like everything else I do. Take care. See you guys. Love you all. Bye.